We've all faced a family emergency, but for people with limited resources like Sarah and Jamie, the consequences of that emergency can have a devastating and life-threatening impact. When Sarah's son was sick, she lost a week of work and wages. Now she's unable to pay her rent on time and faces eviction. An eviction on her record will make it more difficult for Sarah to secure safe housing in the future. When Jamie and her husband moved to Tucson, Jamie was cut off from family and friends and became isolated. Her husband's violence escalated and Jamie was hospitalized. She connected with a domestic violence shelter, but she needs court orders to escape the cycle of violence. Each year, 140,000 low-income Pima County residents like Sarah and Jamie need legal assistance, but only 6,000 of them receive help. We have a solution. My name is Melissa Spiller-Shiner, and I'm the Director of Community Outreach at Step Up to Justice. We are a free legal center for low-income individuals and families, powered by volunteer attorneys and cutting-edge technology. Our staff has 40 years of legal experience, and knowing that thousands of people each year cannot be served by traditional legal aid, we stepped up to build something new. In just 3 years, we've built an organization from the ground up, recruiting 200 volunteer attorneys who have donated 16,000 hours to assist 3,750 clients, driving $4 million of free legal services into our community. Our volunteer model lets us serve clients at a cost per case of $192 versus $1,200 for federally funded legal aid, so we can serve more tenants like Sarah. Our attorney called her landlord, who agreed to accept her rent and late fees. A simple phone call by an attorney helped Sarah avoid eviction. Tenants are 19 times more likely to keep their homes with legal counsel. We've built 25 community partnerships, and when Jamie was referred, our attorney stepped up, helping her obtain an order of protection and divorce. With an attorney, survivors are 4 times more likely to secure an order of protection against their abuser. As one of the only privately funded pro bono centers in the nation, we do not receive any federal or state dollars which could restrict the clients we serve. Help us connect each of Pima County's 2,500 attorneys to clients in need. $200 provides legal services for a family. $8,000 covers our annual technology expenses to support client services. And $50,000 hires a full-time law school graduate to coordinate services for an additional 500 clients each year. Since our launch, tenants like Sarah have secured stable housing, and survivors like Jamie can rebuild their lives. Please join us. We invite you to volunteer, donate, and spread the word. We invite you to step up to justice.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good job.
Thank you.
A lot of my comments are going to be more, so one of the things I would say at the beginning, I felt like your pacing was a little fast for me, like you just kind of jumped right into it and you were on the go. And I noticed later on in your presentation, you slowed down a little bit and your pace was different, so that was good. There were a lot of things that you did. I loved a lot of the transitions that you used. I like when you step up to justice and you make it a step. You were really good about how you transitioned throughout your speech, meaning you didn't take lots of transition movements, but you took them at appropriate times to know that I knew you were going to tell me something different. The other thing that really worked for me also in your presentation is you have really good eye contact. So sometimes when you're above or on a stage, it's really easy not to look at us in the audience, so then we don't connect with you. So it's always really important to look at us, and that's what you did. I may come back to some things when I hear my partners over here give you feedback, so don't think I'm done yet.
Okay, sorry. There's also this fly that's living
He's
right
never
here. I'm
done. I think your delivery is good. You have an approachable, warm vibe that you give off, and that's awesome. But I will say, you were hauling through that. And I had a really, really hard time connecting with the people you were telling me about, because I didn't have time to absorb what you were telling me before, like a stat was thrown in or whatever. It felt really raced. And a little robotic, I felt, in the beginning. Like, are you choreographing it? Maybe
a
less.
Okay.
Because literally I was thinking, oh, she's choreo, and I wasn't hearing what you were saying because I was like busy watching the choreography. But I think that you've got good content. It's just a matter of pausing and really bringing in, like, give it time. let people marinate in what you're saying, and like pause. For example, what did I write? Please help us connect these people with the attorneys they need. Like, you just race through that. Things like that, where I need like a sense of intensity. If you can bring that, I think it's going to change the whole game.
Hi. Yeah, you did a really nice job. So the things that I'm going to share, I agree with everything that they've said, but mine are a little bit different, and I'm hoping that maybe you can think about this in your whole speech, not necessarily different. I don't have necessarily the specific spots. But what I noticed is that your talk is very much about your organization and how awesome it is. And I know that that's part of what you need to convey. But I think connecting me as the donor, potential donor, to the person that I can help by giving to you is really important. And so I would start that much earlier, and I would look at how you're turning your language a little bit. Like when you say, we have a solution, you could say, we have a solution for you to invest in. Right? That changes that whole thing, because it feels like you have it and I don't need to help you anymore. And when you say something like help us connect, maybe say, will you step up and connect the client to these services, right? Take the institution, the organization out of some of those sentences and make it more about me and about the client. And I think your step up is your key, right? And I think you could use it at least one more time, somewhere in the middle, directly at me, the listener. Okay. Will you step up for, and use the names of the people that you're talking about, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
And now he has
Perfect.
Right. So I'm going to add a little bit to what Christy said and I do agree with her that it felt a little robotic. So again, what I'm going to go back to is it's time to own the presentation. And a lot of times we don't realize we don't own it because we don't practice it enough so that it becomes us versus I've got it completely memorized and I know how to deliver it. So it feels a little memorized right now, which is a good thing. You want that. But now you want to move to that level of it's not memorized anymore, because that means when I talk, I may even change the words because I find a word that's even more passionate. So when you get to that place where you know what you're going to say and adding a little bit to what Laura was talking about, I think it'll change how you do your delivery.
Okay.
And I'll just say to everyone, when I'm picking up on the scripted, when I'm saying it feels scripted, it can be as simple as, we are not going to. Do you really say that when you're talking to your mom? Right. We are not going to. No, you say, we're not gonna do this. I mean, be more conversational. It really goes a long way. Because it feels like you're owning it and you're talking to me. We're having a conversation. Right. That's what I want. Great.
Thank you.